According to Patil Bratiha, corruption is the enemy of development and of good governance. It must be gotten rid of. Both the government and the people at large must come together to achieve this national objective. It's another beautiful day in the nation's capital. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Eagle. I am your anchor, Aisha Muhammad.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
Glad to have you back. On our program today, we have updates on activities happening in and around the EFCC, including court updates. Please stay tuned as the program continues right after this timeout.
Corruption is dishonesty and illegal behavior by people in positions of trust. A public office is a public trust. Do not abuse positions of trust for private gains. Stay away from corruption. Nigeria is a great nation, and it is our responsibility to make the country greater. If you notice any act of corruption, please report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or call 09 904 4751 or 09 904 4752. You can also call 09 904 4753. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
A witness in the ongoing trial of former Director General of Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Patrick Akpobolokemi, and 5 others, demonstrates graphically how Akpobolokemi and others allegedly stole over 795 million naira. Kamali Gaby has the details on this and other reports.
The 12th witness in the ongoing trial of former Director General of Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Patrick Akpobolokemi, and 5 others, Oji Chukuma, has told the Federal High Court Lagos, presided by Justice Ibrahim Buba, how the former DG and his co-accused stole the sum of 795,200,000 naira from NIMASA and converted the same to their personal use. Akpobolokemi is standing trial alongside 5 others before Justice Ibrahim Buba of the Federal High Court, Lagos, for allegedly stealing the sum of over 2 billion naira from NIMASA. At the last adjourned date, Oji disclosed how the former NIMASA boss and his cohorts converted the sum of over 1 billion naira from the Committee on International Shipping and Port Security, ISPS account, to their personal use through 6 companies. At the resumed hearing, Oji, through an audio-visual presentation, demonstrated graphically how another 943,008,666 naira was laundered through a similar process of moving the funds through various accounts. Oji disclosed that, in the year 2014, Akpobolokemi, through the office of the then National Security Advisor, applied for the approval of the sum of 795,200,000 naira, out of which the sum of 746,300,000 naira was diverted through shady companies and direct cash withdrawals. When Oji put the above embellishments on a pie chart, it showed that 94% of the total sum was siphoned through a grand conspiracy amongst the accused persons and their companies. He said only 6% of the money was accounted for. The case was adjourned to 23rd and 27th May 2016 for continuation of trial.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned Obiageli Fumilayo Nwagu on a 6-count charge of obtaining money by false pretense and issuance of dud checks before Justice C.O. Aja of the State High Court, Enugu. Nwagu allegedly took a loan of 8,433,547 naira from a licensed money lender and further introduced 7 others who jointly took loans from the same lender, with Nwagu standing as guarantor. The monies borrowed plus accrued interest amounted to a total sum of 25,859,031 naira, for which all 7 borrowers and Obiageli issued checks of different banks. However, when they were presented for payment, they returned unpaid as the various accounts were not funded. When the charge was read to the accused, she pleaded not guilty on all counts. In view of her plea, Defense Counsel OAU Onyema prayed the court to grant the accused bail. But prosecuting counsel M.A. Shehu opposed the bail application and immediately drew the attention of the court to 2 separate applications for bail by the defense. The defense counsel immediately withdrew the earlier application, which the court granted. EFCC counsel then prayed the court to adjourn the case to enable prosecution respond to the bail application. Filing 2 different motions for bail for the same accused person in the same court is an abuse of court process. Hence, I could not respond to any of the motions. I therefore pray the court to adjourn to allow the prosecution file its counter to the motion, Shehu said. The court granted the prosecution's plea and then adjourned to June 6, 2016 for hearing of the motion for bail and commencement of trial, while the accused person continued to enjoy administrative bail granted her by the EFCC. One of the charges reads, that you, Obiageli Nwagu, trading under the name and style of Pizzazz Enterprises, on or about the 2nd day of December 2013 at Enugu, within the jurisdiction of the High Court of Enugu State, issued a First City Monument Bank PLC check number 01952241, dated 2nd December 2013, valued at 3,800,000 naira to Chinwe Uzaka. The said check, when presented for payment within 3 months, was dishonored on the grounds that insufficient funds were standing to the credit of the account upon which it was drawn, and thereby committed an offence contrary to Section 1, Sub 1 of the Dishonored Check Offences Act, Cap D 11, Laws of the Federation, 2004, and punishable under Section 1, Sub 1B of the same Act. Still on court matters, Peter Clark, a retired detective constable with the UK Metropolitan Police, has told the Federal Capital Territory High Court sitting in Gudu, Abuja, that the former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Dariye, is still wanted in the United Kingdom for money laundering charges. Dariye, who is being prosecuted by the EFCC on a 23-count charge bordering on money laundering and diversion of funds before Justice Adebukola Banjoko, is alleged to have siphoned the state's ecological funds to the tune of 1.1 billion naira. Clark gave a blow-by-blow account of how £11,560 cash found on Christopher Mekunyi, an aide of Dariye, who is allegedly involved in a credit card fraud, was traced to the former governor, making him a suspect of money laundering. Led in evidence by prosecuting witness Rotimi Jacobs, SAN, Clark told the court that Mekunyi had under interrogation confessed that the money was given to him to deposit on behalf of Dariye into his Barclays Bank account. He said, in 2004, officers of the Met Police involved in investigating a large credit card fraud had, during search of a number of houses, found the cash on Christopher Mekunyi at 127 Chilton House, Portland Street, SW, London. I asked him about Dariye, and he told me that he was a politician and governor of Plateau State in Nigeria. I then left him with the other officers working on the credit card fraud and made several inquiries with Barclays Bank, where they informed me that Dariye was a customer with the bank with an account that was operated in a suspicious way. Clark, who retired on March 9, 2015 after 28 years in service, thereafter obtained a court order to enable him obtain more information about the said account. He added, "After I got the court order, I was able to gain access to the accounts operated by Dariye. I received the bank statement, the personal customer profile, which is the information provided to the bank while the account was operated by Darie. He first operated the account in 1995, and he told the bank that he was employed as a manager for Benue Cement Company and that he was on a £500,000 yearly salary. There were 9 bank accounts operated by him. Some of them were dormant, but some were high interest bearing accounts, which showed an £816,000 balance. Closer examination of the account showed that money was being transferred into the account from a company called Ebenezer Rednan Ventures ERV, with about £440,000, and the bank sending in the money was All States Trust Bank in Nigeria. There were a number of other electronic transfers directly made by Joshua Darie himself, and from memory, I remember Lion Bank. Mr. Darie also operated a credit card, and all the accounts were registered at one address, Flat 28, Regent Plaza Apartments, 8 Greville Road. He further told the court that investigations showed that one Joyce Oyebanjo was also paying into the account, issuing checks from a bank account at National Westminster Bank. According to him, I discovered from the account that in October 2003, she received more than £1 million through electronic transfers from Nigerian companies. She was also responsible for paying money into Dean Close School in the UK for 3 of Darie's children. Clark further told the court that he thereafter requested for the assistance of the EFCC to help in unraveling evidence linked to ERV. While giving further testimony, he said, in July 2004, Joyce Oyebanjo was arrested, and in a prepared statement, she stated that all monies that were sent to her from Nigeria came from Darie and were being sent to her for the upkeep of his children and the maintenance of his property in the UK. In September 2004, I received information that Darie was at Marriott Hotel, George Street, and on the 2nd of September, around 8:20 a.m., I went to room 1208, which was occupied by Darie. I introduced myself and told him I'd been investigating his bank accounts and had suspicion that the money he had received in the account was stolen. As a result, I arrested and cautioned him on suspicion of money laundering. He made no reply to the caution. Clark revealed further that on searching his room, £43,000 cash was found and seized. Various denominations, including euros, pounds sterling, dollars and Scottish banknotes were found in the room and confiscated. Also, a Mont Blanc pen worth £7,000 and a Louis Vuitton branded shoe worth £700 a pair were among properties found in his room. Oyebanjo, according to Clark, already served a 3.5 jail term in the UK for involvement in the money laundering offence. The photograph of the seized banknotes were presented in court and accepted as exhibits against Darie. Enquiry at the hotel counter, according to Clark, revealed that contrary to Darie's claim that he only booked one room, he actually booked another, which was occupied by one Christabel Bentu. He said, and I quote, I asked him if he had travelled to London on his own, which he informed me that he had. However, I had information from the hotel that he booked 2 rooms. The other was room 1220, occupied by Christabel Bentu, whom claimed to be Darie's personal assistant. End of quote. Clark told the court that when her room was searched, £50,000 cash was found in her safe, including Darie's international passport and flight ticket. Bentu, according to him, was subsequently arrested on suspicion of money laundering. Darie, according to Clark, was served with a notice which he signed, warning him not to move any money again as part of the money laundering offences already committed. The notice, which stated that Darie must return to the UK by December 14, 2004, was signed, dated and agreed to by Darie. The documents were presented in court as exhibits. Clark, however, told the court that if he had got wind of the revelations of money laundering unearthed before September 2004 by the EFCC, he would not have granted him bail, but would have charged him with criminal offences. He said, and I quote, on September 22, 2004, my colleagues searched Flat 28, a property bought by Darie, and found £11,995 in his pocket, which was seized. There were also 3 Barclays Bank cheques of £57,000 each. Immediately after he failed to answer his bail, I made an application for a warrant of his arrest. That warrant for his arrest was granted and is still valid today. He was circulated as wanted on our computer systems, and he remains wanted in London as of today. End of quote. Justice Banjoko has adjourned till June 6, 2016 for continuation of trial.
Imagine a society where everything works. Durable road networks, stable electricity supply, portable water, well-equipped and functional healthcare facilities, quality education for all, affordable housing schemes, social security benefits, job creation, and a lot more that makes life comfortable to live. That is an ideal society. We can only achieve these if we all play our part. Say no to corruption to enjoy these benefits. Kill corruption to save Nigeria. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
If you're just joining us, you're still watching The Eagle, coming to you from the stables of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Next, I report on the arraignment of a bank manager, Irene Okeoha, for 8 million naira fraud, and also that of an alleged internet fraudster, Igofoso Oyoma, for $9,200 scam. Zainab Sani Ahmad has the details.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned one Irene Okeoha before Justice S.C. Amadi of the State High Court, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, on a one-count charge of stealing to the tune of 8 million naira. Okeoha, who is the Customer Service Manager, EcoBank PLC, Hotel Presidential Branch, allegedly defrauded the bank of the sum of 8 million naira. The charge reads that you, Mrs. Irene Okeoha, on or about the 17th February 2016 at Hotel Presidential, Port Harcourt, within the Port Harcourt Division of the Honorable Court, did fraudulently steal the sum of 8 million naira only, property of EcoBank PLC, and thereby committed an offence contrary to Section 390, subsection 9 of the Criminal Code, Cap 37, Laws of Rivers State of Nigeria, 1999. When the charge was read to her, the accused pleaded not guilty. In view of her plea, the prosecution counsel, Ben Ubi, urged the court to fix a date for the commencement of trial and to remand the defendant in prison custody. However, the defense counsel, B. Igeongi, prayed the court to grant his client bail, as the accused was already on administrative bail by the EFCC. Justice Amadi granted the defendant bail in the sum of 20 million naira and one shorty a like sum. The shorty, who must be resident within the jurisdiction of the court, should possess a landed property to be verified by the prosecution. The shorty is also to deposit to an affidavit of means. Justice Amadi adjourned the case to May 25, 2016 for trial and ordered the defendant to be remanded in prison custody pending the perfection of her bail. In another development, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned one Igofose Oyoma before Justice E.A. Obile of the Federal High Court sitting in Warri, Delta State, on a 7-count charge bordering on conspiracy, forgery, and obtaining money by false pretense to the tune of $9,200. Igofose was arrested sometime in May 2015 in Calabar, Cross River State, following intelligence report on his involvement in internet scams. During investigation, different scam mails which he used in defrauding his victims, mostly foreign women, by presenting himself as Mike Anderson, an American businessman, were recovered. One of the charges reads that you, Igofose Oyoma, aka Mike Anderson, on or about the month of May 2014, at Warri, Delta State, within the jurisdiction of this honorable court, did conspire with one Bright Archer and Desmond, now at large, to commit felony to wit, obtaining money by false pretense, and thereby committed an offence contrary to Section 8B and punishable under Section 1, subsection 3 of the Advance Fee Fraud and Other Related Offences Act 2016. The defendant pleaded not guilty to the charge when it was read to him. In view of his plea, prosecution counsel M.T. Aiko urged the court to fix a date for the commencement of trial and to remand the defendant in prison custody. However, the defense counsel O.W. Onwenode informed the court that he had filed a summons for bail and served same on the prosecution. Justice Obili adjourned the matter to 23rd May 2016 for hearing of the bail application and ordered the defendant to be remanded in prison custody. I am Zainab Sani Ahmed reporting for The Eagle.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
The ongoing trial of former Jigawa State Governor Alhaji Sule Lamido and his sons, Aminu Sule Lamido and Mustafa Sule Lamido, and two others was stalled on Monday, May 9, 2016, before a federal high court sitting in Abuja due to the absence of defense counsels in court on the adjourned date. Rolake Odofinjolayemi updates us on this and other reports.
Again, the trial of a former governor of Jigawa State, Alhaji Sule Lamido, and his cohorts before Justice Adeniyi Ademola of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja could not continue due to the absence of the counsels to the defendants. Lamido is being prosecuted alongside his two sons, Aminu and Mustafa, and two others by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on a 27-count charge bordering on abuse of office and money laundering. At the resumed hearing today, the prosecution counsel, Chile Ukuruma, presented to the court a letter dated May 6, 2016, from Joe Agbi, SAN, one of the defense counsels, stating the unavailability of the other counsels due to some inexplicable reasons. According to Ukuruma, the defense did not deem it fit to send just one junior lawyer to represent them, even if the development would eventually lead to an adjournment. While expressing his reluctance to have the case further adjourned, Justice Ademola said, "We cleared court schedule for this date and the counsels had agreed to this date before it was chosen." At the last adjourned date on April 12, 2016, the trial had been stalled when counsel to Lamido, O.E. F. Young, SAN, applied for several stand-downs and eventual adjournment for the second defendant, who claimed to be sick, to get medical attention. Consequently, the case was adjourned to May 31, 2016, June 1st and June 2nd, 2016 for continuation of trial.
EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime.
A federal high court sitting in Warri, Delta State, has convicted and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment Osayemi Dumi for money laundering and obtaining money by false pretense. Dumi was arraigned by the EFCC on a 4-count charge bordering on money laundering and obtaining money by false pretense to the tune of 26,200,000 naira. Upon his arraignment, he pleaded not guilty to the 4-count charge, but later changed his plea to guilty. His latest plea changed the course of the trial. Justice E.A. Obile convicted Dumi and sentenced him to 2 years imprisonment on the 4-count charge with an option of 200,000 naira fine. He ordered the evidence of the 2 vehicles confiscated from him upon his arrest to be filed in the registry of the court. Meanwhile, Dumi's co-accused person, Rose Bauer, and her company, Ladukas Integrated Services Limited, who were originally arraigned together on the same 4-count charge of money laundering and obtaining money by false pretense to the tune of 26,200,000 naira, stuck to her not guilty plea. Dumi's ordeal started when he was arrested on March 6, 2015 by operatives of the EFCC at Nedurabo Close, Ife Ubeji Road, Warri, Delta State, following a tip-off about his suspicious flamboyant lifestyle. At the time of his arrest, the following items were recovered from him: a 2011 C350 Mercedes-Benz car and a Toyota Venza. Dumi, who claimed to be a Yahoo boy, confessed to have duped one Stephanie, an American lady, the sum of $75,000 with which he acquired some of the seized properties. His co-accused person, Bauer, whose trial continues, was alleged to have benefited from the proceeds of his heist. Rolake Odofinjolayemi, reporting for The Eagle.
Corruption is dishonesty and illegal behavior by people in positions of trust. A public office is a public trust. Do not abuse positions of trust for private gains. Stay away from corruption. Nigeria is a great nation, and it is our responsibility to make the country greater. If you notice any act of corruption, please report to the EFCC via info@efccnigeria.org or call 09 904 4751 or 09 904 4752. You can also call 09 904 4753. This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Glad to have you back. The program is still The Eagle. You too can be part of this program by joining us on our social media platforms at Official EFCC. Let's take some comments dropped by our followers on these platforms. Anna Swandi wrote via our Facebook page. She said, and I quote, "I was a victim of an internet fraud about 2 years ago. I am glad to hear this news of conviction. We hope the EFCC will nab them more because there are still many out there." Yes, Wandi, the EFCC is committed to ridding the country of corruption and economic crimes. Thanks for your words of encouragement. Hussein Muhammad wrote via Google Plus and he said, "May God be with you in your efforts to ensure social justice and fairness in the country." Thank you, Hussein, for that message and amen to your prayers. Keep sending your contributions via our social media platforms at Official EFCC. And with that, we've come to the end of today's edition of the program. But before we go, let's quickly take a look at the major headlines. Witness demonstrates how Akpobolo Kemi, others allegedly stole 795 million naira. Court remands businesswoman for 25.9 million naira fraud. EFCC arraigns bank manager for 8 million naira fraud. Fraudster bags 2 years imprisonment. And the ongoing trial of ex-governor Sule Lamido was stalled. That's it on the program. Please don't forget to drop your comments via our social media portal at Official EFCC across all the social media platforms or send an email to the Eagle at efccnigeria.org. My name is Aisha Muhammad. Thank you for watching and God bless Nigeria.